All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at Elon Musk.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to be using this book, Elon Musk, Inspiration for Living a Rich Life.
Okay.
And we're going to be kind of pulling out like the key takeaways
hmm
about his mindset and how he approaches life, for people who want to kind of get the inside scoop on what makes this guy tick.
That's cool. Yeah. I think a lot of people are fascinated by him and how he does what he does.
Yeah, for sure. And the way this book is written, I think it's really interesting because it's not just like listing his accomplishments. It really digs into like the thought process
Yeah.
behind like the framework for how he makes decisions.
Oh, wow.
It's like reverse engineering his success.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And one of the things that really stood out to me, I was like, whoa, is this quote.
Mm.
And he says, if something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy to just say that,
Yeah.
right? But this guy, he walks the walk. He takes on these projects
Yeah.
that everyone else thinks are impossible.
Right.
Like colonizing Mars, revolutionizing electric vehicles.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is the conviction that that takes. It's something else.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not just simple ambition, I think, that comes through in the book.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, there's an anecdote where he actually says he wants to die on Mars, just not on impact.
Right.
So it's not that he doesn't see the risk.
Yeah.
It's that he's, like, willing to embrace it
Yeah.
if it means pushing things forward.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So it's like this calculated risk-taking. It's not just about being reckless. It's about, okay, what am I willing to risk
Right.
to achieve this bigger goal? And it makes you think about, like, in our own lives, where do we draw that line,
Mm-hmm.
between being cautious and maybe holding ourselves back?
Totally. Like, where are your boundaries? What are you afraid of?
Right. Would you take that leap of faith, knowing that you might fall flat on your face?
It's hard.
Yeah,
It is. But yeah, examining those comfort zones, I think, is a big part of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of pushing boundaries, another thing that I found really, really interesting about the book is this whole idea of continuous improvement. He never stops.
Oh, really?
And there's this quote where he says, I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself.
Wow.
And so it's not just like, okay, I've achieved this level of success. Now I can kind of sit back and, coast.
Mhm.
He's always iterating.
Oh, wow.
He's always tweaking. He's always looking for ways to improve,
Yeah.
even when things are already considered successful.
Yeah, that feedback loop aspect comes across really strongly in the book as well.
Totally.
He just seems wired for it. It kind of shows that, like, he doesn't want to just get stuck in a routine. He's always willing to adapt, evolve, and it's like that influences the way that he hires people, too.
Wow.
So it's like woven through everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's not just working hard, it's working smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're constantly evaluating and refining.
Right.
I love that.
Mm.
It makes me think about what area of your own life could you apply that to?
So many.
Right. Like your career or relationship or hobby or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's always room for growth.
Definitely, yeah. It's a good prompt for, a little bit of self-reflection.
Sure.
Yeah, but it does make you wonder, like, where's the line? Right?
Yeah.
At what point is it too much?
Right.
Like, could this relentless, optimization lead to burnout?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe he has a good system for that, but it's something to think about for sure.
That's a really good point because there can be, even for like the most positive approaches to life, there can be like a downside if you take it too far.
Yeah, totally.
And speaking of approaches, I think we should talk about one of his like most famous principles, and that's first principles thinking.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, he has that like really famous quote about it.
Oh, what is it?
He says, it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy.
Okay.
And so basically what that means is instead of just like looking at what other people have done and copying it, you're really breaking down a problem to its most fundamental truths.
Oh, okay.
And then you build your solution up from there.
So it's like a more fundamental level of problem solving.
Exactly.
the-
You're not relying on assumptions or what's been done before.
Right.
You're really getting to the core of it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And the book gives this really cool example of how he actually used this with SpaceX.
Oh, okay.
So, he wanted to send a rocket into space, right?
Of course, yeah.
And he started getting quotes from these established companies.
Mm-hmm.
And the prices were astronomical.
Okay.
So instead of just accepting that, he thought, okay, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What are the raw materials we need for a rocket?
Yeah.
How much do those actually cost?
Right.
And then he started thinking about how can we streamline the process of building the rocket?
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, SpaceX was able to dramatically reduce the cost of space travel.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
It is. And, it kind of ties into this other aspect of his thinking
Okay.
that I think we should touch on, which is his focus on company culture,
Mm.
especially at Tesla.
Okay.
He said before that great companies are built on great products.
Right.
But while the cars themselves are obviously, amazing,
Yeah, they're great cars.
he really emphasizes that the company culture is like the real secret sauce.
Oh, interesting.
It's the backbone of Tesla's success.
Ah.
And so for him, it's not just about, making a profit. It's about having this shared mission,
Right.
of innovation and sustainability and, changing the world.
I see. Yeah, it's like a purpose-driven company almost.
Yeah, exactly. And so it makes you think about, where you work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're a part of something bigger?
Yeah.
Or does it just feel like a job?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It is. It really is like he's built this community
Yeah.
of people who are all super passionate
Yeah.
about what they're doing.
Right. And working toward this common goal.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I think it speaks to the power of that.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel like you're a part of something bigger,
Totally.
it's not just okay, I'm going to work, I'm going to get my paycheck and go home.
Yeah.
It's no, we're actually making a dent in the universe.
It's almost that it transcends just being a business
Yes.
and it becomes something more
exactly
like a movement or something like that.
Yes. And you know what I find really interesting about that too is that I think it ties back to his willingness to take risks.
Oh, how so?
It's those big swings that he takes, it's not just about the potential for success.
Right.
It's about aligning himself
Yeah.
with this larger vision for the future.
That's a good point. Yeah, the risk isn't just for him, it's for something bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's you were talking about earlier how that constant striving for optimization
Yeah.
could lead to burnout.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that sense of purpose
Right.
is what provides the counterbalance.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay, I'm working really hard, but it's not just for me.
Totally.
It's for this greater good.
Yeah, and it makes it more sustainable.
Right.
In the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between striving for excellence and also maintaining a healthy perspective on the bigger picture.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
So I feel like we've covered so much ground here.
Yeah, we have.
We talked about dreaming big, taking risks, the importance of persistence, first principles thinking, fostering a culture of innovation.
We did it all.
I know it's like drinking from a fire hose.
It's a lot, but it's really fascinating stuff.
It is. It's really cool. And I think, it's we've been given this little glimpse
Yeah.
into the blueprint for success.
Mhm.
But the key takeaway, I think, is not to just try to copy Elon Musk.
Right.
It's to understand the underlying principles
Yeah,
and then adapt them to our own lives.
for sure. Figure out what works for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And so before we wrap up, I have a question for you.
All right, shoot.
If you could have dinner with Elon Musk,
Oh.
what's the one question you would ask him?
That's a tough one.
I know, right?
There's so many things. What would I ask him?
About his approach to life or business or the future or anything.
I think I'd want to ask him about the biggest challenge that he's facing right now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and how he's using first principles thinking
Right.
to try to tackle it.
I love that.
I'd just be so curious to see his thought process.
That's such a good question.
Thanks.
I think I would ask him about the role of intuition
Oh, okay.
in his decision-making process.
Interesting.
Because he seems like such a logical thinker.
Yeah, he does.
But I wonder how much he also trusts his gut instincts.
Right. Especially when he's making these big, bold moves.
Yeah.
Is there a feeling in his gut that's telling him, yes, this is the right thing to do?
Totally.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it seems like we've reached the end of our deep dive
Yeah, we have.
into the inspiring world of Elon Musk.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I know, right? It's so interesting, and we've uncovered some really thought-provoking insights
Yeah, we have.
into his mindset,
Mm-hmm.
his problem-solving techniques,
For sure.
his vision for what's possible.
It's inspiring.
It really is. And, it's even though we reached the end of this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
this is just the beginning.
Ah,
I encourage you to keep exploring these ideas,
for sure.
to challenge your own assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
and to pursue your own ambitious goals
Absolutely.
with the same passion and determination that Elon brings to his endeavors.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And, there was that quote from the book that I think is so important.
Yeah. What was it?
He says, I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary.
I love that.
It's so powerful.
It is.
It's like a reminder that we all have the potential for greatness.
We do.
But it's up to us
Totally.
to make that choice.
I got to choose it.
You have to choose it. And so as you go about your week,
Yeah.
I want you to keep that in mind.
Mm.
Keep Elon's spirit of innovation
Yeah.
and that relentless pursuit of progress in mind.
Absolutely.
Like, what seemingly impossible dream
Right.
will you dare to chase?
It's a good question.
What problem will you tackle using first principles thinking?
I like that.
Maybe there's a project that you've been putting off, or an area of your life where you've been hesitant to take a risk.
Right.
But now's the time.
Yeah, just go for it.
Just go for it.
This deep dive has been a fantastic reminder that the future is just full of possibilities.
It is.
And it's up to us to shape it.
We get to decide.
Yeah.
And so whether it's, revolutionizing an industry
Mm-hmm.
or just making a positive impact in your own community,
Yeah,
we all have the potential to make a difference.
I agree.
Awesome.
Well said.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the inspiring world of Elon Musk.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights
Yeah.
and a renewed sense of possibility.
Absolutely.
Till next time, keep learning.
Keep exploring.
Keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And keep choosing to be extraordinary.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. I mean, his story is just such a great example of, like, if you have enough drive, you can achieve incredible things.
Right. Like even when it seems impossible.
Exactly. Even when everybody's telling you, no, it can't be done, he's like, watch me.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? His journey is far from over.
That's true.
So who knows what he's going to come up with next?
It's exciting to think about.
I know. Like, what groundbreaking innovations are just around the corner
Yeah.
that we haven't even thought of yet?
Mm-hmm.
And, as you go about your week,
Yeah.
I challenge you to keep that in mind.
What do you mean?
Like, keep that spirit of innovation
Oh, yeah.
that Elon has, that relentless pursuit of progress. Like, what seemingly impossible dream will you dare to chase?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what problem are you going to tackle using first principles thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there's a project that you've been putting off,
Mm-hmm.
or an area of your life where you've been a little bit hesitant to take a risk.
Right. Right.
But, this is your sign.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
What are you waiting for? This deep dive has been like such a good reminder that there are just so many possibilities out there.
Yeah.
And we really can shape the future.
We get to decide
Yeah.
what it looks like. And so whether it's like revolutionizing an industry
Right.
or just making a positive impact in your own little corner of the world,
Totally.
we all have the potential
We do.
to make a difference.
It's true.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the inspiring world of Elon Musk.
It was fun. I learned a lot.
Me too. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Likewise.
And to all of our listeners out there,
Yes.
thanks for tuning in.
We appreciate you
We hope you gained some valuable insights.
and a whole lot of inspiration.
Yes. Until next time,
Keep learning.
keep exploring
Keep pushing the boundaries.
and keep choosing to be extraordinary.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.